The number that lets you never work again is smaller than almost anyone guesses, but only if you move early. A 25-year-old needs about $100,000 working quietly in the background to walk away from a paycheck for good. A 45-year-old chasing that exact same freedom needs closer to $400,000. Same finish line, 4 times the price, and the only thing that changed was 20 birthdays. By the end of this video, you'll know the precise number for your own age, and you'll see the simple math that proves it. You'll also follow two men who began with the identical salary and ended up living two completely different lives. One of them stopped needing his job before he turned 53. The other one reached 65 and still had to ask his manager for the week off. They paid the same amount every month. The thing that split them apart is a choice you can still make today. Let's deal with the big phrase first, because never work again sounds like a slogan, and slogans don't pay rent. It actually has a hard number behind it, and the number comes from one of the most tested ideas in personal finance. Researchers ran decades of market history through a single question: how much can a person pull out of an invested portfolio every year and still not run out of money before they die? The answer they kept landing near was 4%. That gives you a shortcut so clean it almost feels like a trick. Take whatever your life costs for 1 year and multiply it by 25. That product is your freedom number. Reach it and your money can fund your life on its own, year after year, without you clocking in. Run a real example. Say your life costs $60,000 a year. Rent, food, insurance, the car, a couple of trips, the whole thing. Multiply $60,000 by 25 and you get $1.5 million. Cross that line and the math says your portfolio can hand you roughly $60,000 a year for the rest of your life while the rest keeps growing. You stop trading your hours for money. Your money starts buying back your hours instead. That $1.5 million is the target for the rest of this video, so hold it in your head. Now for the part that stings, the part this whole video is built around. The freedom number doesn't change with your age. A $60,000 life costs $1.5 million whether you're 25 or 55. What changes, and changes brutally, is how much you personally have to feed in to get there. Because the younger you are, the more of the work gets done by something other than you. Picture two guys. Mike is 25, fresh into a real job. Greg is 45, established, kids, the whole picture. Both of them decide on the same comfortable goal, that $60,000 life, that $1.5 million finish, and both of them commit to the same exact habit. $1,500 a month into a broad index fund, every month, no heroics. Mike sets it up at 25. Greg sets up the identical amount at 45. Same money, same fund, same patience. The only difference between them is a 20-year head start. Watch what that head start does. Mike pays his $1,500 a month, and somewhere around his 53rd birthday, his account quietly rolls past $1.5 million. He hit his freedom number while his coworkers were still arguing about their pensions. He doesn't stop there because the snowball is rolling on its own now, and by 65, Mike is sitting on close to $4 million. He didn't earn $4 million, he saved a fraction of that. The market did the rest while he slept. Now Greg, same $1,500 a month, same fund, same discipline. He just started 20 years later. Greg reaches 65 with about $780,000, a serious sum, more than most Americans ever build, and it's only half of what he needs. At 4%, that pile pays him around $31,000 a year, not the $60,000 his life actually costs. So Greg, at 65, with the same monthly habit Mike had, still cannot fully walk away. He keeps working or he cuts his life in half. The $1,500 a month was never the difference. The 2 decades were. Sit with that for a second before we go on, because near the end, I'm going to show you the one move that shrinks this entire number at any age, even at 55, and almost nobody uses it.
Most people never hear about it because it doesn't sell anything. Now the buy age table, the real reason you clicked. This is how much you have to invest every single month, starting right now, to reach that $1.5 million by 65, assuming a 7% average return. These aren't promises, markets bounce around, but they're the honest center of the math. Start at 25 and the number is about $570 a month. That's it. Less than a car payment buys you a $60,000 retirement because you handed the market 40 years to compound. Start at 35 and the same finish line now costs about $1,230 a month. You waited 10 years and the price more than doubled, not because you got lazier, because compounding lost 10 of its best years, and those early years are the ones that matter most. Start at 45 and you're looking at roughly $2,880 a month, 5 times the 25-year-old's payment for the exact same result. Start at 55 and the number turns savage, about $8,600 a month for 10 straight years. At that point, you're really not investing toward freedom. You're trying to outsprint time with a wallet, and time usually wins.
Look at the shape of that. 570, 1230, 2900, 8600. The cost of the same dream, roughly doubling every decade you wait. This is why Greg fell short on the same money that set Mike free. Greg, at 45, was paying a 35-year-old's price. Mike, at 25, was paying that same price 2 decades early, so for him it was an overpayment. An overpayment at 25 turns into freedom in your early 50s. If you're sitting there past 35 doing the math on your own life and feeling a little sick, stay with me, because the back half of this video is built for exactly you, and that age-proof move is coming. Maybe you don't want to drip money in for 40 years, though. Maybe you've already got a pile saved, or you're about to inherit one where you sold something. So let's flip the question. How much would you need invested one time today and never touch again to coast all the way to $1.5 million by 65? No more contributions, just let it sit and grow. At 25, that one-time number is about $100,000. Drop $100,000 into the market at 25, walk away, add nothing else, and it grows itself into your full freedom number by 65. That's the whole thing the 25-year-old has that nobody else does. Time so generous, it does the saving for you. At 35, that single deposit jumps to about $197,000. At 45, you'd need around $388,000 sitting there. And at 55, with only 10 years left to grow, the one-time figure balloons to roughly $760,000. The exact same destination, but the door fee keeps climbing the later you show up. This is the quiet cruelty of compounding, and it cuts both ways. For Mike, time was a coworker putting in unpaid overtime. For Greg, time was a bill that got bigger every year he ignored it. Same force, opposite sides. I want you to see exactly where Mike's $4 million came from, because the breakdown is the whole lesson in one snapshot. Over 40 years of $1,500 a month, Mike personally put in about $720,000 of his own money. That's the part he felt, the part that came out of his paycheck and stung a little every month. The other $3.2 million, he never earned a dollar of it. The market built it on top of his contributions while he was busy living his life. He put in $700,000 and walked away with almost $4 million. Now run the same breakdown on Greg. Over his 20 years, Greg put in about $360,000 of his own money. Half of what Mike contributed, sure, because he had half the years. But the market only added around $400,000 on top for him. Stack those two side by side, and the head start stops being an abstraction. Mike's money roughly multiplied by 5.5. Greg's barely doubled. Same fund, same return, same discipline. The only ingredient Greg couldn't buy back at any price was the time he'd already spent. That's the part nobody can sell you and nobody can lend you.
You either start the clock early or you pay a fortune later trying to catch up to it. So when you hear someone say, "I'll get serious about investing once I'm making more money," understand what that sentence actually costs them. Every year they wait isn't a year of missed savings, it's a year stripped off the front of the compounding curve, which is the most expensive year to lose because it's the one that had the longest to grow. Now, the move I promised, the one that bends this whole thing in your favor no matter how old you are. Because everything I've shown you so far assumes one thing stays frozen: your spending. The entire table is built on that $60,000 life, and your freedom number is chained to it by that multiply by 25 rule, which means the fastest way to lower the finish line was never to earn more or to start younger, it's to need less. Watch what happens when Greg, stuck at 45 and short on time, attacks the other side of the equation. Instead of trying to find $8,000 a month he doesn't have, he trims his life from $60,000 a year down to $48,000, 12 grand less, one less car payment, a smaller place, fewer subscriptions bleeding out the side. His freedom number doesn't drop a little, it drops from $1.5 million to $1.2 million. $300,000 erased from his target by a single decision about how he lives. The rule underneath that is the one I want tattooed on your brain. Every single $1,000 a year you permanently cut from your spending knocks $25,000 off the amount you need to retire. Trim $5,000 a year from your life, and you just deleted $125 grand from your finish line. No raise required, no lucky stock, no time machine. And this lever works identically at 25, at 45, at 55. It's the one number on this entire whiteboard that doesn't care how old you are. That's the move. The reason the table seems to only go up with age is that everyone assumes their spending only goes up too. Break that assumption, and the finish line slides toward you. This is also the trap that swallows high earners whole. Someone pulls in $300,000 a year and still can't retire because their life now costs $200,000 a year, which chains them to a $5 million freedom number they'll never reach. The person living on $40,000 a year needs $1 million. The person living on $200,000 needs $5 million. The big salary didn't buy freedom. It bought a bigger cage with nicer bars.
So before I give you the calculation, one promise I made at the start. The single number that decides your entire timeline isn't your income, and it isn't even your age. It's your annual spending. That one figure sets your finish line, sets your monthly payment, sets the whole game, and almost nobody knows theirs to the dollar. Now your 10-second calculation. No spreadsheet, no advisor. Do it right now in your head. Step 1. Take what your life honestly costs for a year. Be real about it. The rent or mortgage, the food, the insurance, the fun. Step 2. Multiply that by 25. That product is your freedom number, the amount that lets you never work again. If your life costs $50,000, your number is $1.25 million. If it costs $80,000, it's $2 million. Try it on a normal household for a second. A couple spends $4,000 a month, so $48,000 a year. Multiply by 25, and their freedom number lands at $1.2 million. That figure probably feels far away. Then they cut $800 a month of stuff they won't even miss in a year, dropping to $38,400 annually, and their number falls to $960,000. They just knocked $250,000 off the wall they were staring at, and they did it from the couch in one afternoon without asking anyone for a raise. Then map it to your age with the rule of thumb you already watched me prove. In your 20s, hitting that number is a few hundred a month away. In your 30s, low 4 figures. In your 40s, it gets heavy. In your 50s, it gets brutal unless you also pull the spending lever. The earlier you start, the more of the bill the market quietly pays for you. The longer you wait, the more of it lands on you personally.
That's the secret the whole video was hiding. Money doesn't actually buy you a yacht or a watch or a bigger house, not in any way that lasts. The only thing it ever truly buys is the morning you wake up with no alarm, answer to no boss, and realize your time finally belongs to you again. The number that buys that morning is sitting in your spending right now, waiting for you to multiply it by 25. So tell me down in the comments, and be honest, what's the number that would let you walk away from your job tomorrow and never look back? Don't write a paragraph, just the number. I read them, and the range always surprises people. And if you'd rather build toward that morning than spend the next 40 years pretending a bigger paycheck will fix everything on its own, subscribe and stick around. The next breakdown shows you exactly where to put that money so it actually compounds the way Mike's did, instead of sitting in a savings account losing to inflation. Your future is quietly being decided by what you do this month. Make this the month you finally ran the number.